regional and then falling to eventual state champ Indianapolis Tinley. They, of course, lost a lot of seniors, 6 in all, including Stevie Mack and Zach Moore, a couple of very prolific scorers for this Mustang squad. So they've certainly got a lot of holes to fill in their cupboard as well, and they've got a lot of young guys, not a lot of size. It's a dramatically different team that you see out on the floor. When you go into a game and you're getting ready to face a team that maybe is a little bit on the desperate side to do anything to kind of turn the tide and to get a little bit of momentum, and they're desperate and they're hungry for that first win, what concerns you most as a coach when you face a team like this?
Obviously, kids sometimes just look at records. You just said it, they've lost 8 straight. So, a team, you don't want to be overconfident. We've played a really tough schedule, really, to start out the first 8 games. And, sometimes kids can start looking at the records and say, well, they lost everybody from that regional team, and then they've only won 1 game this year. So this could be an easy one. But you have to guard against that because, you just said it, they're desperate for a win just like we are. So, the biggest key, I think, will be to come out, and we talked about it yesterday, defense travels. Sometimes you struggle in opponents' gyms or away gyms shooting the ball, but, there's a reason that's a saying that defense travels. You can always, and it's back to attitude and effort, you can always dig down and play defense. So I think to get going in the first quarter, if we can pressure, get some turnovers, turn them into easy baskets, I think that would propel the Senators to a nice ball game today.
Coach, looking back at yesterday in that game with Springs Valley, it was Springs Valley, obviously, that was the aggressor. They came out, they showed some half-court traps, zone looks. That 1-3-1 was very difficult for us to face because we had so many passive guys out on the floor that wasn't looking to attack, and we get in trapping situations and guys not coming to help relieve pressure in those traps. And it seemed like they kept pushing us further and further out toward the 10-second line and never allowed us to get in an offensive rhythm. But, and I don't want to take anything away from this new Washington team, but certainly when you look out there, like I said, a dramatically different look
Athleticism.
From what we've seen in the past in the last season or two from New Wash. So maybe this is the opportunity for us today to come out, be the aggressor, apply a little bit of full court pressure, because it seemed like in those first 3 or 4 ball games when we were able to kind of turn the tempo a little bit in our favor and get after some guys defensively, like I said yesterday, even in the first half of that game at Paoli, I felt like that was probably our strongest card in the deck, being able to pull out a little bit of defensive pressure instead of being the people facing that pressure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in any sports situation, or heck, any situation at all, if you're going to be passive, things are going to be difficult for you. You have to be the aggressor no matter what you're doing. I mean, especially, and you're right, Medora, we were the aggressor. Pekin East, we were the aggressor the first time we faced Eastern down there. I mean, when we've been aggressive and when we haven't backed down a little bit, I mean, we've played pretty well. Taking the shooting woes aside and everything, but just, you said last, that Valley went on a 12-0 run. So basically they outscored us after that, only outscored us by 4 the rest of the game. So, I mean, we were very passive at the beginning. You have to guard against that, because if you're passive, somebody's going to take advantage of you.
Well, we'll take a timeout here, as always, during this moment of our Senator tip-off pregame show and our special holiday tourney coverage here from Springs Valley High School, to thank you, the fans, for tuning in to today's broadcast of Senator basketball on both the AM and FM dials here today on WSLM. And also, as always, we want to take time to show appreciation to the great sponsors that make this and every broadcast of Senator basketball possible. And those sponsors include our pregame show sponsor, as always, John Jones GM City, as well as our halftime report sponsor, Eddie Gilstrap Motors and Ace Hardware of Salem, which will bring you our post-game festivities here today in both contests, as well as McDonald's, home to Coach's Corner every Wednesday night. They're on South Main Street in Salem. Walmart, now by the radio station, a new partner in sponsoring Senator basketball this season, as well as Brady Bishop and Channel Seeds. We appreciate his sponsorship as well. And Salem Crossing and Meadowview Healthcare, longtime sponsors of Senator basketball here on WSLM. We're going to step aside for our first break of the day. And when we return, we'll sit down and talk to Senator head coach Sean Smith, get a few thoughts on yesterday's performance against the Blackhawks, and look ahead to today's matchup against the Mustangs of New Washington. But first, we'll take a 60-second timeout to hear a word from the Indiana High School Athletic Association. You're listening to Senator Basketball in the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney on WSLM 97.9 FM and 1220 on the AM dial.
Before the big plays, before the magical moments, before all that discipline, dedication, and teamwork finally pays off, comes your support. The IHSAA Foundation is dedicated to protecting, sustaining, and nurturing education-based athletics in Indiana. Its work will ensure IHSAA members, schools, and coaches receive the support they need so that Indiana student-athletes receive the opportunity they deserve. Learn more at ihsaafoundation.org.
Welcome back as we continue on with more of this edition of our Senator Tip-Off pregame show as we get ready for Game 2 of pool play today here in the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. It's the Senators and Mustangs, and a little bit of a remix of that regional matchup from last spring. We're joined now on this portion of the show, as always, by Senator head coach, Mr. Sean Smith. Coach, rough day offensively for your crew again against Springs Valley in that second game yesterday. Just couldn't really seem to find a rhythm in that first quarter. Finally got some free throws there in the final minute or so from Gavin Smith. But just go back and kind of assess, if you would, the overall offensive and defensive effort for your ball club.
Well, it needs to be a lot better. And I think we had a few guys that were pretty engaged and playing pretty hard, and we had some guys that had that deer in headlight look, and it's part of that learning process we talk about. We got to get past that. You got to come out ready to play, and you can't take possessions off at the varsity level. We can't get away with that, especially against a really good team. I mean, Springs Valley is a very good team, and they have a lot of weapons, and they execute really well. So I mean, right off the bat, we weren't ready to play, and we were down 8-0 before we could even blink. So that's what good teams do to you, and we got to learn from it and get better.
We did talk about in the postgame a little bit the play of a couple of guys in particular. Holden goes scoreless, trying to get back into a rhythm a little bit after being off from the previous holiday tourney with the concussion-like symptoms, but he comes alive for you offensively, chips in 15 in that second half, and then I thought for the most part Harrison was very solid for you offensively as well yesterday.
Yeah, I was very pleased with Harrison's play. I thought, early he kind of got caught up and settled, for a jumper, and we took him out. We talked about that, and he really responded well and had a whale of a game after that. He went to his strengths, which is attacking the rim and getting on the boards, and he did a nice job getting in position where he could use the glass, and just had a really nice game. So hopefully he can build on that. I was really, really proud of Harrison's effort, and he definitely showed up to play, and then. After Holden kind of got his legs back under him, he stepped up in the second half and had a great second half, and made some nice plays and hit some big shots, and that kept us within, kind of kept us in striking distance, but we could never string anything together to really get back in it. And again, that's the thing. We can't be a team that we got to come out ready to play. We can't try to play catch up all the time, and we got to find some guys that are ready to come out and compete right off the bat.
And we did talk about that as well yesterday in the post game, trying to get some guys in more of an attack mode early on. And with a short turnaround, it's difficult enough. Sometimes that's hard to do when you've got a week to prepare for a team, let alone less than 24 hours. So what's the approach coming into this second day of pool play, and how do you try to awaken the beast within some of these guys offensively?
I mean, we're going to really emphasize being aggressive and attacking, and that's something that we want our guys to do, and we've been talking to them about several of the guys about doing that, and we're going to shake our lineup up a little bit. We talked to some guys today before we came over that we expect them to attack and be aggressive, and too soon the season's going to be over, and you're going to be looking back and thinking, man, why was I not aggressive? And you definitely don't want to have regrets like that. If you make mistakes out of playing the game hard and playing it the right way, so be it. It's a game of mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Basketball's not a game of perfection, but let's not be making mistakes where we're playing scared and passive and not trying to do things. We need guys to step up and make plays. That's inevitably it's what it comes down to, is a team that makes plays.
Coach, obviously you are a much different ball club than you were back in March up at Lagodi at the regional. This new Washington team, much the same. They lost Stevie Mack and some of their big-time scorers as well. But what do you know about this new look Mustangs team?
Yeah, I mean, we're two different teams. I mean, they lost 6 kids, we lost 6 kids, so we're both kind of in the same stage or same boat. They don't really have a lot of size like they did. Last year they were a very big team. They were very much more guard-oriented. Number 22 is a very aggressive player and can knock some shots down for them. And they're very, very scrappy. But overall, they look a lot different as we do. So it's going to be a totally different game, I'm sure.
I know you talked about yesterday the fact that, if you're not knocking down shots, it's hard to get into your press looks. But with a team that's struggling and they're riding an 8-game skid, is this an opportunity today where if you get some early shots to go down, you can apply some pressure and try to get the tempo where you want it?
Yeah, at some point I think we can. It just depends on the lineup we have on the court. But I think, at some point we can pick up our pressure, and be aggressive, and we need to be. But even with the bigger lineup, we certainly would like to see our guards be aggressive defensively and pressure the ball. And we need to be aggressive on the boards. There's no reason that we shouldn't be able to, dominate the glass if we're aggressive.
I know what the coaching mindset is, wanting the guys to be more aggressive, obviously, at the offensive and defensive end of the floor. But what's the read on the boys? Early game again here at noon today, knowing you'll have to play another one this afternoon. What's their mindset?
I don't really know. I mean, that's up to them. I mean, we talk about, we can run certain offenses, we can play for certain defenses. We work on fundamentals, and we'll get better and learn from our mistakes. But at the end of the day, they have to figure some things out as individual players and competitors too. That attack mentality is something that we're going to continue to preach to them and talk to them about. But at the end of the day, they have to figure that out, and I guess we'll see when we take the floor. At this point, I would hope that our guys are hungry. Losing 5 games in a row, I'd hope they're hungry to win. But they got to go out and show that, and we'll see.
Coach, the health of your team, I know we've battled a couple of different concussion situations, and Nick was sick yesterday. Talk to us about the health of the team for today's matchups.
No, we're still without Nick. He's, I guess I understand, I guess his whole family it's taken over the whole family. So he's got a really bad stomach bug, and I last time I talked text with his mom, I even mentioned if he gets to feeling a little better, maybe he can come play game 2. But so we brought his jersey just in case. But I think he's probably pretty much zapped and doesn't have a whole lot of energy if he's past all the puking stage, and with everybody else puking, I think it's just pretty much don't expect to have Nick today, and we hope they all get better. And hope they get to feeling better, and hope that no one else gets that stomach bug, because it sounds like it's a doozy. And but that's an opportunity for guys like Jake Strange and Harrison and Gavin to step up and and get some minutes and show what they got.
Coach, you mentioned a shake-up in the lineup to try to wake some of these guys up and get them rolling. What's that new lineup going to look like today?
Well, we're going to go with a bigger lineup today. We're going to go with Holden, Bousman, and Caden Abels at the guard spots, and then we're going to go with Harrison Sanford and Gavin Smith and Jake Strange up front.
Okay, Coach, we wish you all the best in this matchup with the Mustangs and hopefully even out our record in pool play, and look forward to talking to you after the ball game.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Senator head coach Sean Smith joining us here on our Senator Tip-Off pregame show. Stick with us. We'll have more in a moment. You're listening to the Senators today in the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney on WSLM 97.9 FM and 1220 on the AM dial.
Just in time for the holidays at John Jones GM City in Salem, get GM employee pricing on our most popular Chevy models. You pay what we pay, not 1 cent more. Use your employee discount and save over $11,000 on select Chevy Silverados. Put a bow on that. Drive a brand new Chevy Spark, automatic, backup camera, touchscreen sound system, built-in Wi-Fi, lots more. Just $12,137 while they last. You can also browse through a variety of really nice local trade-ins, many priced around $5,000. GM employee pricing for you right now at John Jones GM City. Stop by 1450 Highway 60, Salem, Indiana. Call 800-I-SELL-GM or visit us online anytime at johnjonesautogroup.com.
We come back inside the Hawk's Nest where we continue our countdown to the tip here on our Senator Tip-Off pregame show brought to you by John Jones GM City of Salem as the Senators get set to take on the New Washington Mustangs in their second game of pool play. A win would drop the Mustangs not only to 0-2 but set them up with the 5th, 6th place game starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, but then a win would also put West Washington in the driver's seat to be in that consolation game, which they would take on the Shoals Jug Rocks. Our championship already set in the nightcap this evening. It will be the Paoli Rams and the Springs Valley Blackhawks, so an all Orange County final here tonight. But while we got a few minutes here before we come up with our starting lineups and the opening tip for this one, just a few pregame notes. Over the span of the last 30 years, and really less than that, about 20 years, there's been 4 meetings between these two ball clubs. Actually, New Washington has won all 4 of them. Of course, the 2 meetings last year, Senators lost by 10 in the regular season over at the Mustang Corral back in January, and then lost in a heartbreaker in the regional semifinal up at Lagodi. So losing those 2 games by an average of 7 points, and then the other 2 meetings date back to the year 2000 on December 26th. That was during Neil Coyle's first run, and Neil was 57-74, took a 74-57 loss in that one. And the year before they played in 1999, they're in late December, and that was a 59-52 loss as well. So 4 meetings since the 99 season, and the New Washington Mustangs have been able to win all 4 of those meetings. That last meeting, again, 40-36 loss in the semifinals of the Lagodi Regional back on March 11th. But, Coach, again, you look at these 2 teams, like we said earlier, very, very different in their approach, very different in their personnel. But I think that this is a situation, at least for, you know, when you look at, I hope that's not air raid sirens. I'm not sure what's going on in here. I guess.
They're going to throw up the deep ball.
Perhaps they've got some kind of siren going on. I'm not sure what's happening here. But anyway, you know, you look at these 2 teams, Coach, and certainly you've got 2 different looks for personnel-wise. New Washington, a relatively small team. They boast a couple of guys at 6'1", a couple at 6 foot even, and then it really falls off from there. So hopefully today with the shakeup in the lineup, seeing guys like Gavin, Harrison, and even Jake Strange into the lineup. Hopefully they can be more assertive on the offensive end and kind of show some of their dominance in the post early and get things established.
Yeah, we're going to have a size advantage at just about every position, other than maybe Caden and their point. But and that's what we have to do. We have to make good post entry passes. You have to secure the ball as a big. You have to turn, get set, like you've preached throughout the first 8 games. Get your feet set, get squared to the basket, and go up strong. I mean, if we have this big of a size advantage where we got Jake at 6'4", we got Gavin at 6'2", 6'3", Sanford 6'2", 6'3". I mean, if you establish the post presence and you go up strong with it, you're either gonna and with good fundamentals, we're either gonna make the shot or we're gonna live at the foul line today, which will be great for us. But yeah, with this big a size advantage, I mean, Coach said it in his pregame that it may take us out of a few pressure situations, may not be able to press as much, but if we're dominating down low, I mean, that's fine too. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how if New Wash is going to pack it in. I'm not real sure their style to play this year, but I would assume that they're have a size disadvantage in most games they play. So I don't know. We'll see pretty early if they like to pack it in and make teams be jump shooters. But yeah, that'll be an interesting point to watch. Our bigs against a smaller New Wash team.
And not only how our bigs perform against this smaller lineup for the Mustangs, but also how some of these guys respond, having their starting roles taken away from them if they come in off the bench and they're able to offer that firepower coming off the bench in a reserve role, maybe a little bit of a wake-up call and a shake-up, as Coach Smith mentioned, for some of these guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at today's keys to victory, brought to you by John Jones GM City, our pregame show sponsor. First and foremost, Coach, I think it's that immediate energy that we just talked about. Time for us to get out to the fast start for once and be the aggressor and get after people. Secondly, I think we have to aggressively create. By that I mean with our defense. We were so good through the first 3 or 4 ball games with deflections, active hands, getting after people, and hopefully today we get some early shots to go. We could see some of that full court pressure and getting after some guys and creating some turnovers, which will turn into some instant offense. And then finally, living life in the fast lane, and that goes back to what I just said. Hopefully we can get out, run and gun a little bit with this team and have some fun and bring a little bit of life back to this team in general. But that remains to be seen as we get closer to the tip. Those keys to victory brought to you by John Jones GM City, a proud sponsor of the Senators all season long. You can call the good folks at John Jones GM City at 1-800-ISELL-GM, 1-800-473-5546. Check them out on the web at johnjonesautogroup.com, or better yet, stop by their new Salem location, that beautiful showroom and lot. They're on 1450 South State Road 60 in Salem. John Jones GM City. You see so many because they pay so little. We'll step aside, take one quick break, and we'll come back with today's starting lineups and the opening tip. It's the Senators and Mustangs in pool play in the 2017 Springs Valley Holiday Tourney.
Health and Rehabilitation, we offer hope in the form of our Moving Forward short-term rehabilitation to home program. With a full range of therapy programs, the goal of Moving Forward Rehabilitation is to help people return home safely with the skills they need to live life on their own terms. Call us and ask us about your Medicare replacement policy or managed insurance policy and what your benefits are. We are here to help. For more information about MediView, visit ascseniorcare.com or call 812-883-4681.
Back inside the Hawks Nest, ready for pool play today. Let's run down today's starting lineups brought to you by John Jones GM City. First for the New Washington Mustangs, 1-9 on the year, riding an 8-game losing streak. Jonathan Mays, the head coach, 91 and 155 record in his 11th season at New Wash. They average 37.5 per game and give up 62.4. They were blown out of this gym 61-27 last night by the host Springs Valley Blackhawks. they'll start a 3-guard set. Number 12, Hunter Miles, starts at the point, 5'10", and a senior at 7.7 points per game. He's joined in the backcourt by 22, A.J. Walter, the team's leading scorer, 5'10", and a sophomore. He averages 12.2 per contest. Number 24, Drake Felker, 5'10", and a sophomore, starts at the 3rd guard spot at 1.5 points per game. Up front, 32, Bo Giltner, 5'11", and a freshman. He averages 6.2 per game. He's at 1 forward. He'll be joined by 42, Spencer Ty, 6 foot and a junior at 2.6 per game for the Mustangs. The Senators and Coach Sean Smith. Coach Smith, 54-33 in his 4th season in the Berg. They average 43.8, give up 51.5. They were defeated by Valley as well yesterday. They started 2-guard set. Holden Bousman in the front court, in the backcourt rather, with Caden Abels. Abels, a 5'7" junior at 2.9 per game. Holden at 8.8 points per game. He's 6 foot and a freshman. Up front, Harrison Sanford, 6'2" and a sophomore. Gavin Smith, 6'2" and a sophomore. And in the middle, the 6'4" freshman big man, Jake Strange, at 3 points per game for the Senators. The Senators in the white uniforms, the home threads, white trimmed in blue and red, blue letters and numerals. Meanwhile, the Mustangs in those road blue uniforms, bright blue with gold and white trim, white letters and numerals. And the Senators on the WSLM dial today, starting off going from right to left as Holden takes a strong take into the paint. Can't get the little runner to go off glass, so Senators dry on their first possession, but I like the aggressive take into the paint here early, Coach.
Right, and that we need that. Yesterday we were so passive in the first quarter, but yeah, he took it right to the rack on that. So yeah, maybe coaches talk about being aggressive from the get-go will stick.
Today's Indiana High School Athletic Association officials crew would include Mr. Steve Eichert, David Urey, and Brett Deckard. 55 seconds into this one, a travel for the Mustangs, their first turnover of the day, and we'll quickly see a substitution less than a minute in. Fernando Diaz, 5'8", and a sophomore at 3.7 per game, will check in for Drake Felker. So
it's pretty quick.
Quick substitution here. Coach May trying to get a little bit of energy perhaps in defensively. Nice feed, high-low post look from Gavin Smith to Jake Strange. Jake can't finish, battles strong, gets his own rebound, kicks out to Holden, and now to Abels. Abels straightaway 3, in and out, no good. Rebound fought for, and coming out there with it are the Mustangs. Hunter Miles, though, with the turnover. Turnover number 2 for the Mustangs. Senators back in action. Holden will control it out front, slows it up, brings it back between the circles, and says let's run some offense. Minute and a half gone by. First quarter of play from the Hawks Nest. Misty Jones alongside of Mark Gibson. Craig Akers running live stream feed. And as Gavin Smith works in the low post and gets a little acrobatic shot to go, and the Senators strike first blood here with the first basket of the afternoon. Make it 2-0, 6-12 and counting first quarter.
Again, that was a post feed by Holden, and Gavin went strong. I'm not too sure he couldn't have got an and one situation on that, but at least he went strong and got the bucket.
That'll be a near turnover here for New Wash. They tried to feed the back cut from the mid-post. Ball poked away. It'll stay with New Wash. And, Coach, I know it's early. Just over 2 minutes gone by in this first quarter of play, but you got to think message received during some of those player meetings this morning before the kids left Camelsburg.
Right, and we've already got 3 deflections. So, I mean, we talked about it. We need to pressure D with this group right here against this team. We get a good feeling from the very beginning.
Little high ball screen action for the Mustangs, kind of similar carbon copy of the Senators, but instead they go with a pick and pop instead of pick and roll. 3 ball off the mark for Spencer Ty. It will not go. Rebound sails out of bounds, last touch by the Mustangs. So 2-0 here early. Senators out in front. A little bit of a shakeup again in the lineup. Abels, Bousman, along with Sanford, Gavin Smith, and Jake Strange. So a little bit different look here to start a bigger lineup for sure for West Washington as opposed to the last few ball games. Another high-low look. Jake Strange catches high post, kicks out to Abels, who shoots it cross court now to Holden. Pull-up jumper just inside the line, won't go. Rebound on the offensive glass to Jake Strange. His shot was blocked from behind, and the Mustangs come out of there with it. Nearly 3 minutes passed here in the first quarter of action. Good strong take to the hoop. Holden ends up on the floor. We'll have our first foul of the afternoon. Mr. Deckard with the call. And this one's going to go on Caden Abels. First foul of the day. 5:07 to go, first quarter. 2 shot attempts upcoming here for Hunter Miles on the year. 4 of 9 for 44%. Knocks down the first. Miles averages 7.7 per game for Coach May and the Mustangs. Mustangs on the board. Nearly 3 minutes in. He knocks them both down, so we'll take our first tie of the day at 2-2. Senators come back to work, going again a little high post, low post motion offense. A little guard exchange out front. Abels catches, sends it left wing to Harrison Sanford. Nice strong take to the glass. And he got it to go. Harrison, an aggressive look, make it 4-2. Senators back out to a 2-point lead.
Harrison was one yesterday who was very aggressive, so that's good to see that continue.
You could see him stepping out here, even on defense, pressuring out near the midcourt stripe. Nice defensive rebound for Gavin Smith as he secures it, lays it off for Abels, who races it into the front court. Now to Holton, left side. Bausman kicks it back out to Abels. Abels will shoot it across now on the right wing to Harrison. Harrison in the high post for a moment, got it back, gives it to Holden, and now on the left wing, Abels feeds down low to Jake Strange. He's immediately doubled on the kick out. Abels couldn't find the range from three land, and it will come off to Diaz and the Mustangs. They try to feed in the post. Turnover number 3 already for the Mustangs, and the Senators have it deflected away. Senators yet to give the ball up on a bad possession. 3:59 to go, first quarter. Again, a win will put West Washington at 1-1 in pool play and give them a date with the Shoals Jug Rocks in the consolation matchup later this afternoon. Abels catches out front. They swing it around the perimeter now to Sanford. A little lob pass inside. Nice up and under by Gavin Smith, and he's able to smooch one off the window. Gavin's got 4 early. Harrison's got 2. Post players showing their presence. Jake's had some touches, and it's a 6-2 lead as Parker Green comes off the bench. He'll enter on the next dead ball opportunity. Nice little hesitation crossover for A.J. Walter, team's leading scorer for the Mustangs, but nowhere to go with it. Had to kick it out. Almost a 2-1-2 set as they'll go into a 3-guard exchange from the high post and double wing. Being very deliberate here, and maybe this is the style that best suits this new Wash team, being smaller. Coach tried to spread the floor and get a little dribble drive, and they get one there as Walters hits the tough pull-up jumper, a little pump fake in mid-air to get the shot off. Ball tipped around, and I spoke too soon as the Senators turned over for the first time as Harrison tried to feed Gavin Smith again in the mid-post, had that ball poked away. Diaz takes the brunt of that punishment in the post as he catches an elbow to the forehead or to the nose. And he'll try to shake the cobwebs as Parker Green will check in for Harrison Sanford. Parker, 6 foot and a freshman, at 5.8 points per game and nearly 4 rebounds as well. Parker very quiet yesterday, Coach. We'll see if he's as subdued today.
Right, he went through the entire game without taking a shot and ended up 1 for 2 from the line. But he did some other things. He got some rebounds and some an assist and a steal. But we need him scoring some points too.
Mustangs stay in the 2-1-2 spread. Hold out front and then try to attack off the dribble. And look at this, the big man, the freshman, Jake Strange, stepping in to take a charge. That'll be turnover number 4 for the Mustangs.
A couple of nice plays by freshmen. Actually, Holden got a piece of his. He went in for a floater. Walter, who Coach pointed out he's probably their most aggressive guy. Holden got a little piece of the ball from behind and then took the charge as well. So a couple nice plays there.
Player control will go on Hunter Miles on the dribble drive. Senators come back to the other end. They're working around the perimeter. Abels back to Green, who had an open look, didn't take it. They give it up to Bausman now right side. Harrison Sanford also back into the game for Jake Strange, who gets a breather, and the Senators lose the handle again in the post. Turnover number 2. Senators will give chase at 3-quarter court, and we'll have a carrying violation or palming violation by David Urey, who makes the call. That'll be turnover number 5 already for the Mustangs. Caden Abels will check out of the ball game, and in for the first minutes of the day is the junior 5'10" guard, Mikey Nichols, at 5.8 per contest. Another substitution as well for the Mustangs.
Sometimes an inexperienced group, a young group, will really take a coach's suggestion to heart. Maybe sometimes we're forcing it too much to the post. I'm sure you've said, let's get it into the post, but we forced a couple of them.
Nichols misses the 3. Harrison Sanford with the long offensive rebound. Nice feed underneath to a cutting Holden Bausman, who couldn't finish off glass. Awkward angle. Was afraid he was going to get undercut. Had to kind of contort the upper half of his body. Last touched by the Senators. The Mustangs will get it back with 1:43 to play here in the first. 6-4 here early. Senators have led the entire way with one tie briefly at 2 apiece. Kick to the corner. Fernando Diaz with the 3-ball, and he got it to go. And the Mustangs have their first lead of the day at 7-6. Diaz with the big triple off the bench for Coach May. Mustangs sticking with the man-to-man half-court defense. Senators will dribble drive left side. Parker trapped in the corner, nowhere to go, and there'll be a foul first. Coach May likes the aggression he sees out of his guys. It was Walter and Diaz with the charred trap on the left side. And we'll see Cam Zink, the 6-foot senior guard, check in. Usually a starter, but coming in on a reserve role today at 2 points per game. Harrison gets another breather, so right now it's Green out there with Bousman, a couple of freshmen. Senior guard Cam Zink, junior Mikey Nichols, and sophomore forward Gavin Smith. Off the inbounds, Holden gets it quickly on the wing. Gives it up to Nichols out front. He'll dribble drive as Gavin continues to work in the post. Trying to find him or Parker, either one. Parker with a mismatch as well if we can find him. Zink will have to kick it back out top to Bousman, who swings it around on the left side. Nice, strong, quick take by Mikey Nichols, who gets one to go off glass. He's got his first 2 of the afternoon and make it an 8-7 lead for West Washington. A lot more aggression in this first quarter than what we've seen perhaps in the last 3 games combined, Coach.
Yeah, and I think, sometimes when we're playing a more experienced team like a Paoli or Valley, Salem, it causes our guys, our young guys, to not be as aggressive. It's like, oh, man, they've been there, done that. But, it looks like they know this is a team very similar to us. So, they're just playing a little bit looser with the basketball now. I mean, as in, okay, I can take this guy off the dribble.
Spencer Ty, one of their, I guess you'd say, true big men, 6 foot and a junior, kind of pounding the air out of the rock out top as we roll under 10 seconds to play. And now they'll go a true spread, everybody out of the paint. Dribble drive attempt won't go for A.J. Walter. And Mikey Nichols, 3/4 court. Planks off the back iron. Thought he might get the friendly bounce, though. In the first quarter, though it be a slow one, as far as scoring is concerned, just 8-7 after the first stop. The Senators lead it by 1 on the scoreboard. We'll step aside, take a break. We'll come back with second quarter action right after this. You're listening to the Senators in the 2017 Springs Valley Holiday Tourney.
Caring people make the difference. You can feel it the minute you walk into Salem Crossing. Experts in long-term care, not just doing a job, but following a calling. They're here to help you and your family find answers and solutions and peace of mind. In fact, they become an extension of your family. For more information about Salem Crossing, visit ASCSSeniorCare.com or call 812-883-1877. That's 812-883-1877.
Back to begin the second quarter of play from the Hawks Nest. Senators lead at 8-7 after the first stop. It'll be new wash ball coming out of the quarter break. Senators will roll with Green, Zink, Bousman, Nichols, and Strange to start the period. Diaz comes back out of the lineup as the Mustangs go back with their original 5 as well to start the period and have a deflection. New wash will reset.
Pressuring the ball out front a little bit, and that's what I like to see, getting him back and pressuring the ball. Like, sooner or later, that may turn into a layup the other way.
Team leader in steals and deflections with those lightning quick hands as he's giving chase out front to Hunter Miles. 5 count was on, and now Holden will come and offer a double team from behind. Nearly got a strip on Bo Giltner, and they force the Mustangs into a quick shot on the break. Nice feed to Zink, who can't finish on the dish from Bousman, and back to the other end. Walter will go flying in, and Deckard with the call. Another player control whistled against the Mustangs, so another turnover as well. 6 now in the game for New Wash, and a great job of our guys being willing to stand in and take
Right.
that punishment, something that usually you
Earlier
don't
in
see
the
a lot of
season,
guys want to do.
Earlier in the season we had chances to take some charges and we didn't do it. So hopefully that's something we're learning here.
2 fouls already on the team's leading scorer for New Wash, A.J. Walter, as Nichols comes up short on a little jumper just inside the right elbow. Pushing back in transition, Miles will slow it up left side. And we will see another substitution. Mario Diaz, 5'10" and a junior at a 1.5 per ball game. He'll check back in with Fernando Diaz. So substitutions galore at the next dead ball opportunity. As there'll be another high ball screen out front. Walter operating with those 2 personals. Coach May gambling with some of his young guys. Again, mostly sophomores and freshmen. Much like West Washington in their lineup. 6:38 and counting, second quarter of play. West Washington with the 8-7 advantage. Ball stripped away. Nice steal by Parker Green. 7 turnovers now for the Mustangs. Back in transition. Zink drives in. Shot off the glass. Won't go. Rebound pulled down quickly by Bo Giltner. And the Mustangs now will slow it back up. And Coach May says, hey, let's spread this thing back out and go back to our 2-1-2 look as he directs traffic. And again, it's more of a guard take and replace out front. Ball stripped from behind. Nice block. Mikey Nichols in transition. Takes it. Elevates. Can't get the shot to fall. Good take, though, as Drake Felker pulls down the rebound. And we'll have a Senator foul. Their second of the day. Looks like they're going to get Nichols on this one, perhaps out of some frustration after missing the little runner as the lid stays on the basket for the junior guard. Substitutions here as Sanford and Abels will check in. Strange and Bousman will check out. So see if we get a little bit more speed here.
Yeah, we went a little bit smaller. Looks like, and then we're going to throw in some pressure here.
Full court man-to-man, a little double nickel for Coach Smith and the Senators trying to pick up the pace as we roll under 6 minutes to go. And Hunter Miles bumped as he crosses the timeline. And this one's going to go on Mikey Nichols as well. So back-to-back fouls for Mikey. Team foul number 3, and that'll prompt Dakota Smith to check in. 6 foot and a junior at 2.7 per game. He did not play at all yesterday in the loss to the Blackhawks as Nichols checks out with the 2 personals. So it's Zink, Green, Sanford, Abels, and Dakota Smith. Dakota Smith more of a defensive specialist and a rebounder, a guy that goes in and does a lot of the dirty work. Kind of reminds you of a Brian Cardinal back in the day for the Boilermakers.
And actually, he's done a really good job at the line. In the first few games of the season, he, like you said, he would get some garbage rebound. Not really garbage, but, second chance points.
Sure.
But then he would get fouled. And I think he's actually one of our leading free throw shooters, 81, 82% right now.
Back to the spread look. Count goes on, and the Mustang bench calls it out for him, so they know when to give up the rock. 5:27 and counting before the half. Tough shot, won't go, way off the mark for Hunter Miles, and the Senators back at it in transition, wasting no time getting into the front court. Abels with the crossover against Diaz, leaves it off right wing now for Harrison Sanford. He'll feed in the post to Dakota Smith. On the kick out, we'll go to Sanford, and now back up top to Zink as they're collapsing hard now on those post feeds, Coach.
Yeah, these guys are really, Coach mentioned it, they are really scrappy.
Dakota Smith loses the handle. Can't even count that as a shot attempt, just kind of squirted out of his hands. So turnover number 3 for West Washington. Mid-post feed to Giltner. And on the post feed, Giltner had it poked away. It'll stay with the Mustangs. Substitutions here as number 14, Zach Bauer, 5'11" and a junior, checks in for his first minutes of the day for Coach May and the Mustangs. We also see Gavin Smith check back in for Dakota Smith, who had just a brief stint on the floor. 4:48 counting second quarter. Still stuck on 8-7. Nearly halfway through the second quarter. Timeout on the floor for Coach May. Didn't like what he was looking at in his spread attack. 30-second timeout for Coach May. While we have a second, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Senators today on 1220 and on 97.9 FM.
When you're listening to IU Sports, you need to be locked in on WSLM 97.9 FM, your home for IU Sports.
8-7 your score. Again, scoreless through this second quarter thus far, and Coach May probably wants to keep it there. I'm guessing he would be happy if he kept this game in the upper 20s, lower 30s, Coach.
Right, yeah, they definitely want a slower paced game, and we're trying to speed it up a little bit. We're being more aggressive. We just cannot take the lid off the basket. We are just struggling offensively right now at this stretch of the season. It's just I don't know what you can do about it. I mean, sooner or later it all comes down to scoring points, and we're just kind of struggling offensively right now.
It's almost a different tempo, and watching this group of sophomores and freshmen especially come up through the ranks. Nice jumper on the baseline by Drake Felker as he gets his first 2 of the afternoon, make it a 9-8 score. New Wash with their second lead of the day underneath. Nice feed to Gavin Smith, had it blocked from behind. Rebound comes off, though, to Cam Zink on the offensive glass. Finish that thought about this sophomore and freshman bunch here in just a moment as Harrison Sanford catches. They'll kick it back out to Zink as he takes a glance over at Coach Smith to get direction. He'll bring it left side now to Parker Green. One dribble, gives it right back as the ball reversal goes back to Abels on the right side. Dribble in the air out of it, finally gives it up on the block to Gavin Smith. Then we'll have a reach in on the poke away, and I don't know if they'll get Diaz or if they'll get Felker. And they're going to get Drake Felker, the sophomore, for his first personal after he made a basket on the last offensive trip. 4 personals now whistled against the Mustangs. That's his first. Cam Zink will check out of the ball game. Holden checks back in with 3:53 to play. Box set for West Washington underneath. They'll catch Harrison Sanford. Parker there to save it on the poke away, and splitting the double team was Abels. Leaves it off to Holden. 16-foot jumper won't go from the elbow left side. Rebound comes off, though, on the ping pong attempt to Parker Green. Deep 3 for Abels won't go. Another offensive rebound for Sanford to Bousman. He splits a double team, couldn't get it to go. Lid still on the basket, and coming out of there with it's Fernando Diaz for the Mustangs. That's what you like to see, Coach. Several shot attempts, but at some point,
get it to fall.
At some point, those offensive rebounds look nice, but they get frustrating after a while because that means you're missing way too many shots as the Mustangs turn it over. Parker Green with the steal, leads a 2-on-1 break. Harrison Sanford with the finish off the miss by Holden. And Harrison's got his 4th point of the day. Gives West Washington the lead back at 10-9. Turnover again for New Wash, number 9 in the half. Back to the other end quickly. Abels feeds in the corner to Sanford, who kicks out to Holden. Nice feed underneath. Spin move under the basket. Gavin Smith able to get his 3rd field goal. So the Senators trying to get something rolling here, up 3, 12-9 after a sluggish offensive first quarter of play. Full timeout for Coach May and the Mustangs at the 2:50 mark of the second quarter of play. So Coach Gibson and I will step aside and take one as well. You're listening to the Senators in the 2017 Springs Valley Holiday Tourney.
We're here at McDonald's Gymnasium for tonight's game. It's time to introduce the starting lineup. And the crowd is on their feet and they're going wild. And here comes the new players. We've got the quarter pounders coming in tonight alongside the chicken classic sandwiches. Playing forward tonight, we have got one-of-a-kind McWrap. Guarding your hunger, it looks like we've got McDouble and McChicken coming in. And starting in the center court tonight will be Big Mac. Look on the sidelines, folks. We have Chicken McNuggets cheering tonight alongside those golden delicious fries. Hot and always ready. You'll score points every time you bring the family into Salem McDonald's, right here on Main Street, before or after the game. Don't forget to top off your favorite meal with a cold soft drink, that famous Mickey D sweet tea, or something from their full line of smoothies and McCafe coffee drinks. Order inside to 11, or get that one-of-a-kind taste 24 hours at the drive-thru. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Back out of the timeout by Coach May and the Mustangs. Senators apply some full court man-to-man pressure again. Out of the timeout, Mustangs able to break the pressure and get it into the front court as we roll up toward the 2-minute warning here in this first half of play. Out front, Felker with it, has to give it up to Ty as he goes back to Bauer. Patience on the perimeter now for the Mustangs. Trailing it by 3, poke away, deflection leads to a steal for Caden Abels. Turnover number 10 for the Mustangs. He'll lead the break, leave it off for Harrison Sanford, who elevates. He misses. Nice offensive rebound by Gavin Smith. Mustangs wanted a jump ball, thought it was a clean block. Too many hands in there, too many blue jerseys. Brett Deckard with the call. And he is going to get Zach Bauer for the personal, team foul number 5 for the Mustangs. And that'll be Bauer's first of the game. It'll send Gavin Smith to the line. Gavin, the 6'2 sophomore, averaging 3.3 per game. More importantly, a good free throw shooter at 85%, coming in 6 of 7 on the year. Hits the first one.
Yeah, he's actually done a really nice job. And, you know, your bigs get fouled a lot. You know, they always say your point guard gets fouled and then your bigs. So it's, you got to be able to put these freebies in.
Second free throw on the way. Very patient at the line. Sophomore knocks him down, so give Gavin now 8 on the day to help lead the Senator charge. 14-9, largest lead of the day for West Washington as they continue to trap in the backcourt. Harrison back there with Caden Abels, nowhere to go. They're going to throw a baseball pass, which is going to sail over the head of both
pressure.
Fernando Diaz and Gavin Smith. Way too high for either one of them to catch, and it'll be turnover number 11 for the Mustangs.
That's what we've been looking for. We've talked about it for 2 weeks now. That's the kind of pressure that we need if we're going to want to win ball games.
Drake Felker will check out. Zach Bauer will come back in. Senators will operate with a 5-point advantage at 14-9. Nice take left side. Abels leaves the little runner short off the glass, then comes up with the steal, just strips it out of the hands of the Mustang defender. Lays it off for Holden, who has his first 2 of the day. So points off turnovers big here for West Washington early as they expand their largest lead of the day now to 7 at 16-9. Back to the other end, Fernando Diaz, another 3. He's got a couple of triples to lead the attack for the Mustangs. Cuts it to 4 at 16-12. Minute 24 and counting here to go in this first half of play. Off the screen down low, Holden catches left side. Looked to feed in the post, couldn't get it there, so instead he'll swing it around to Abels on the perimeter. He'll feed mid-post to Hunter Sanford, who rises up and hits the tough pull-up jumper over his man. 6 points on the day for Harrison, and it's an 18-12 game. Near steal, and Holden does come up with a steal. Nice save and an assist to Parker Green. And the Senators now rolling. 13 turnovers forced here as the Mustangs struggle to take care of the basketball. Parker, the recipient of the assist from Holden. Nice play defensively here for West Washington as they started to ratchet up the pressure. 20-12. Nice take underneath. Senators get burnt on that take to the hole, and they are going to be whistled for the personal.
Yeah, that's Harrison was bodied up to him a little bit, and I don't know if he was thinking, you know, sometimes guys, lengthy guys like that who like to block shots will deke a guy. Okay, I'll let him get by me by a step, but I'll block this from behind. But the official whistled him for the foul.
Harrison picks up his second personal of the afternoon. Each team with 5 personals, so not in any real danger here of anybody facing foul issues or foul woes as Gavin Smith checks out. Jake Strange inserted back into the lineup as Coach Smith will continue to teach his young guys, giving Gavin Smith some encouragement. 35 seconds to play. First free throw was missed by Bauer. Second one is up, and it goes in. So 1 of 2 for Bauer, who's a 50% free throw shooter, right on the money. 20-13, half minute to play. Let's see if the Senators will hold for 1. Under a half minute to go, Abels gives it back to Green as they work the 3-man weave out top. Abels again with it. He'll drive into the paint, leaves it off for Parker. They'll try to split a double and give it off to Holden as they continue to get deeper with that 3-man weave, and then out of control, Caden Abels gets to the rack. On the shot attempt, he'll earn a shot at the free throw line, or a couple, that is. And the foul's going to go on Drake Felker, I believe, which would be his second personal, team foul number 6. Got out of control there, Coach, and really no shot at knocking down the shot because he was so out of control and kind of got his body turned, but at least he gets a trip to the free throw line, although he comes up short on that first attempt on the year, just a 50% shooter as well.
Yeah, you know, if you have a wide open layup, go, but if it's even contested at all, I really think you play for the last shot there because you know New Washington is. You're not going to get the ball back unless you get the steal.
Abels knocks down the second of 2 attempts. Make it now 21-13. And the Senators will apply some token pressure as they bring it up slowly. 5 seconds to play. Not sure if the Mustangs are aware of the clock. Trap out front, nowhere to go. And on the heave, it'll be an air ball as time expires, and Coach May very disgusted with his young crew as both teams head through the tunnel to their respective locker rooms. But the Senators with the advantage here at the half, 21-13. Your score. Will step aside, take a break, start crunching some numbers. We'll come back to begin our Eddie Gilstrap Motors Senator halftime report right after this word from a couple of our sponsors.
Yeah, hello, police. Yeah, I just hit a deer. Well, the deer actually hit me, right? But I need a wrecker for my truck. See, the whole front end is really smashed in. Now, the deer didn't make it, but it sure looks like a 12-pointer. Hey, I'd like to be towed to Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center. Yeah, you know, the one at 1008 West Mulberry Street in Salem. Well, just the other day, Bill, my buddy, he had his Ford Mustang redone there, and it looks like it did back in 1965. Even better. Well, they accept most major insurances, and they work with you to get a rental and get you back on the road with genuine parts for your vehicle. Not like some body shops that make their repairs out of the local junkyard. Yeah, right. You know, let Paul know it's me and that the truck will be coming in. He's a great guy, and he knows the repair business like the back of his hand. The deer? Nah, he's not going to process that. Just the truck. Yeah, Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center, or call Paul at 812-883-3481.
Channel Seedsmanship. It's about being in your fields, giving you expert advice, knowing your fields almost as well as you do, and selecting elite seed products to help maximize your profitability. When it comes to getting the most out of your acres and your operation, put your trust in a Channel Seedsman. For customized service, expert advice, and elite seed products, contact me, Brady Bishop, at 812-620-4624. Go Senators.
Since 1937, Eddie Gilstrap Motors has been proud to call Washington County home. As you cheer for your team tonight, we'd like to thank you for your business and continued support. Best wishes to the Lions, Senators, and Musketeers this season.
We welcome you back to Springs Valley High School, the Hawks Nest, where the Senators lead at 21-13 at the halftime break. Let's go over the scoring for both of these clubs. First, for the New Washington Mustangs, it's been a struggle at best here for the Mustangs through the first 16 minutes of play, not able to muster much in the way of scoring production. Hunter Miles with 2 points, as well as A.J. Walter, who battled some early foul trouble. The team's leading scorer coming in, averaging just over 12 points per game, held to just 2 in that first half of action. Drake Felker with 2 as well. Bo Giltner and Spencer Ty both start but do not tally for the Mustangs in the first half of play. Fernando Diaz, Zach Bauer, and Mario Diaz come in off the bench for Coach May. Diaz knocks down a couple of triples to lead the attack with 6 points in all through the first half of play. Bauer goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line for his lone point. Mario Diaz, that is, plays but is unable to tally through the first half of action. 3 of 4 from the free throw line as a team for the Mustangs for 75%. The real bugaboo, 13 turnovers for them through the first 16 minutes. That's not a good turnover to time ratio at all for Coach May's club, leading to this deficit at the half. Meanwhile, for West Washington, again, not a high-powered offense by any means, but just 21 points on the board here at the halftime break, but certainly a more aggressive look for the Senator team in the half court and even full court as they get a number of guys into the scoring act and get a lot of minutes for guys in the first half of play. Holden Bousman with 2 points at the half, as well as Caden Abels able to score on 1 of 2 free throws, shooting there late in the second quarter. Harrison Sanford and Gavin Smith both start at the forward spots today and both having a nice game thus far. Harrison with 6, Gavin with 8, including 2 of 2 from the free throw line. And then Jake Strange also gets the start today but has not tallied to this juncture. Dakota Smith played off the bench, did not score. Cam Zink also scoreless off the bench. Parker Green chips in 2 off the bench, and Mikey Nichols with 2 as well. Senators also go 3 of 4 from the charity stripe for 75%, and they only turn it over 3 times. They had 23 in all yesterday against the Hawks, where they struggled against that half-court trap but against a more inexperienced team today, doing a much better job of taking care of the rock. It was 8-7 after the first quarter of play. Senators led it by 1. They outscore the Mustangs 13-6 in the second quarter, and that allows them to take a 21-13 lead into the halftime break. We'll step aside, get a word in from another one of our sponsors, and we'll come back with more team statistics from Coach Gibson right after this.
This is Kelly, and this is my Walmart. This is Kate, and this is my Walmart.
This is Kevin, and this is my Walmart.
This is Alicia, and this is my Walmart. This is Jessica, and this is my Walmart.
We're all part of Walmart, and we're all part of the local community. Walmart has contributed hundreds and thousands of dollars to the Salem and Washington County community in the past year. We've raised money for Salem's flood victims, local fundraisers, and donated to local law enforcement, the Community Foundation, and many other civic and private groups in the county. We're here to serve you with our unbeatable service and quality products and everyday low prices. I'm Jeff Rampy, and this is Salem's Walmart.
Welcome back to the Springs Valley Holiday Tournament, where West Washington leads New Washington 21-13. Just a few more team stats. Shooting-wise, the Senators are 9 of 24 inside the arc for 38%. 0 for 4 from behind the arc, so the struggles continue there. But overall, shooting 32%. I mean, obviously, and you've talked about it before we went to break, is the Senators are really creating a lot of turnovers, and I think this 8-point lead is due to the fact of sheer volume. The Senators have put up 28 shots, whereas New Washington has a total of 10 shots at the basket. They're 2 of 6 from inside the arc and 2 of 4, which is basically Diaz from the corner has been their only offense. He's 2 for 2 from 3. So basically it's just being able, I think we can say the defense right now has propelled us to this 21-13 lead. We've turned them over. We have 9 steals. Holden has 2. Sanford has 3 steals. Abels has a couple steals, and we're getting our hands on a lot of balls as well, deflection-wise. So, and we're out rebounding them 12-5, and 7 offensive boards. So just sheer volume of shots at the basket is what's helping the Senators, plus that defense. 9 steals in the first half. That's back to what we like, getting those hands in the passing lane and being aggressive.
And just to finish the thought that I had there, in the second quarter, watching this group, Coach, this freshman group and sophomore group, they've had so much success growing up. From the time they started in first, second, third grade playing, and some of those guys even playing with some of the girls on AAU teams and practicing with them all the way through some undefeated seasons in elementary and junior high. This is a group, speaking of our 2 younger grade levels, that have been used to absolutely getting out, getting in people's faces, cranking up the heat defense of late, and defense has turned into offense, for them almost immediately. It's been steal, pitch, catch, layup, and that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing the style that has suited the younger guys so well throughout their, the course of their career thus far, and through elementary and junior high. It's what's worked. It's what they're used to. And now, because we're getting some shots to fall, that allows us to get into that full court pressure, into some of that half court pressure, the run and jump trap, things that they're accustomed to, and things that they're starting to feed off of a little bit.
And that's New Wash really struggled, and that's the importance of being able to make shots. Like I said, I always harp on it, and people are probably tired of me saying it, about our struggles offensively, but that's a great point. This team wants to pressure. This team wants to get out and play fast. Well, when you're constantly missing shots and having to backpedal into your defense, you can't. It makes you be more passive, like we talked about it at the beginning and before the game. I mean, this team, and you're right, they want to be aggressive, but if you can't put the ball in the basket, you just can't be. You cannot be aggressive. So it was nice to see some shots falling and being aggressive, taking the ball to the hoop, getting a couple of easy baskets from our defense. I think that really helped out a lot. Hopefully that continues in the second half.
And we shall see as we roll down toward the start of the third quarter. We'll step aside for one quick break, get in another sponsor, As we wrap up our Senator Halftime Report, brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, just south of the square in Salem.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I needed a cooler for our annual fishing trip, and I heard Ace has Yeti.
Jack was right. We do have Yeti coolers. I told him about the permafrost insulation and the fact that Yeti coolers are built for the wild, and that Yeti Tundra is guaranteed grizzly-proof.
Ace is the place with grizzly-proof Yeti coolers.
Back to begin the third quarter of action. It will be Senator basketball to start the third quarter of play. Abels, Bowsman out there with Sanford, Green, and Gavin Smith. Jake Strange not getting the start in the second half, but saw a little bit of life out of Parker Green that we were missing yesterday, Coach.
Yeah, I was talking about it yesterday and even today. I think it helps with a comfort level when Parker's a little bit more aggressive.
Holden controls out front, sends it on the wing now in front of Coach Smith to Harrison Sanford. He kicks it back out to Gavin Smith. Over to Holden. He thought about pulling the trigger on the three. He'll take a little spin move, kisses it off the window, count it,
nice
and
play.
one. Nice play for the freshman floor general as Holden with a nifty, shifty move decides better of the three, and off the spin and off the little jump shot, able to get it to fall off the window.
So it was
Holden's
a
got
nice, strong
four.
move, a little, spin move, strong. I think he missed several shots in the first half from about the same distance because I think he was looking for contact. I like it better when he's just being strong. If he gets the call, he gets the call. Be strong with it.
And we've talked about it, Coach, his growth and growth spurt and getting stronger, getting bigger, and you could tell that's something that maybe, last year as an 8th grader, he wasn't really able to do. He relied more on the runner and his speed. Now we're starting to see him use some of that strength in the weight room to pull off shots like that as the Senators come up with a near steal. Mustangs had to reset. They'll kick to the corner. And off the dribble drive, nowhere to go with it. Felker had to kick it back out. And the Mustangs will be patient as Giltner controls out front. Lays it off now for Walter, the team's leading scorer. Again, very quiet, just 2 points through the first half of play. Look to take a high ball screen. Says no thanks. They give it off to Diaz, who gets Holden on the pump fake. This time his three from the corner will not go. First miss of the day from downtown for Diaz. Ball sails out of bounds, last touch by the Mustangs. So an empty first trip for them. 24-13. Senators operating with their largest lead of the day at 11. Minute gone by here in the third.
I was glad to see Holden run and jump at him. The two he hit in the first half, he was just able to set up and shoot.
Beautiful feed underneath. Nice job of threading the needle, Coach. And as on the little slip screen, Gavin got free. Parker was able to thread that needle, drop the assist off to Gavin, who finishes and now has 10 on the day. Make it 26-13. Senators have the Mustangs doubled up. Turnover and steal to the other end. Abel shoots it cross court to Green, who leaves it off now for Sanford. Back out to Holden. They slow things up. Looking again in the post. Abels tries to feed it to Gavin Smith. Forgot the ball fake first, and Coach reminds him of that as the ball was kicked away. Substitution here as Hunter Miles will check in. And checking out of the ball game will be Drake Felker, so they'll go senior for sophomore. 6:25 to go third quarter. Three-man stack at the high post. They'll run Abels off last off the staggered screen. Nice take to the hole. Little off balance, missed the shot. Parker Green offensive rebound. He couldn't get the little floater teardrop to go. So the Senators a couple of cracks at it on that trip. Couldn't get anything to go and still operate with a 13-point lead. No defense there, though, as they open up the lane and driving right up to the window was 22, A.J. Walter for his second basket of the day. And now we'll have a carry by Harrison Sanford, which will be turnover number 4. Coach Smith doesn't like the start necessarily he sees here to this third quarter of play. It'll be a 30-second timeout burned up by Coach Smith. His first timeout of the day at the 5:58 mark of this third quarter. While we have just a second, let's step aside one more time for station identification.
When you're listening to IU Sports, you need to be locked in on WSLM 97.9 FM, your home for IU Sports.
Senators with a 26-15 lead here in game 2 of pool play for them. Of course, they lost yesterday 53-37 to the host Blackhawks in Game 2 of the afternoon. And then they come back here today for this matinee, this noontime game with the Mustangs. And with a win, like we said, that'll put them in the consolation game of this holiday tourney. Fifth, sixth place game will take place at 4. And if West Washington's able to hold on, that would be New Wash and Martinsville Tabernacle. Shoals and West Washington, if the Senators hold on, would play in the consolation game. Again, that championship already said it'll be the Rams and Blackhawks in the championship and an all OC final here tonight as the Mustangs turn it over for the 15th time. Coach May's disgust continues with his team as he'll see his big man Spencer Tye check out of the ball game and Zach Bauer check back in.
Again, it's being very aggressive, running and jumping with that full court pressure, and Ty just couldn't handle it on that one.
Bousman controls left side, takes a screen from Sanford. He'll try to throw it over the top. Instead, bounces it into the post. Sanford turns off balance, somehow gets it to go as he falls to the hardwood. Sanford now with 8. Acrobatic shot for the sophomore. 28-15 is our score. Good pressure for West Washington on the baseline. They force the kick out to Bowers. He works the dribble against Gavin Smith. They can't get the back cut, so they'll skip it over to Diaz on the right side. Cam Zink, the 6-foot senior, will check back in. Next dead ball for West Washington and Coach Smith. Nice hands by Abels as he gets another deflection on the pass attempt to Hunter Miles. And it will be Gavin Smith to check out, Zink to check in. So really we're operating right now with a 4-guard set. Zink out there with Green, Abels, and Bousman as they try to go backdoor on the lob. They throw it away. Turnover number 16. The only true post presence out there right now is Hunter Sanford, and Parker Green with a nice aggressive take. He's got 4 on the day. Make it now 30-15, largest lead of the day for
Another
West
steal
Washington.
off the pressure.
And
Can't
off the
finish.
steal, it's Harrison Sanford. Just a little too hard off the window. And I have a little bit of disgust. He'll get a word of encouragement from
Right, it was a
Parker
great
and from
play.
Caden.
Great play. I mean, and that's the thing. You talked about it, just the last possession down, athletic move with the finish. That's the stuff he's capable of. But when he does something wrong, sometimes he gets too down on himself. He just needs to forget about that and be the athlete that he is.
Mikey Nichols will check in next dead ball, and it'll be another palming violation against the Mustangs, Coach. That is now 5 turnovers in this quarter alone and 18 in all for the game as Hunter will check out. So now a rare look for West Washington. All 5 guards into the game at the same time. Bousman out there with Green, Nichols, Abels, and Zink. So really true small ball, but again, maybe one of the few times this year where we face a team where we can get by with that for at least a few possessions.
Right, and yeah, if when you go 5 guards, you think you're going to be at a disadvantage height-wise, but no, actually, I'm not too sure. We're still not taller than they are.
Abels pull-up jumper, 17-footer straight away, draws nothing but air. Zink tries to save it in, but Nichols was not looking at his back turn. I don't know if he took a shot to the face or to the head or what, but he turned away from the action. And with the crossover out front, Miles splits the double team. Now face a triple and forced to give it up to Ty. He dribbles into trouble, kicks it back out to Miles, and Miles slows it back up to Diaz. Coming up on the halfway point of this third quarter of play, 30-15. Senators out in front. Miles will take a 3. It rattles in and out, no good. Nice offensive board work underneath for Walter. He couldn't finish. And now we'll have a foul over the back on the Mustangs. And we'll see Dakota Smith check back in after the foul's reported. Let's see what they tag for this one. It'll be foul on Bo Giltner. And that will be his second of the day. Team foul number 2. Senators have committed 1 in the half. Gavin Smith checks out
here,
as well as Caden Abels. Senators still with a very small lineup. Halfway point of the third quarter. Little dribble handoff out front. Holden with another spin move. Works against Diaz. Couldn't find anything, so gives it up to Parker. Now left wing to Nichols, who drives in unopposed and kisses it off the window for 2 more. He's got 4 on the afternoon, and now it's a 17-point advantage at 32-15, and we'll have a foul across the way in the corner off the full court pressure. And I believe they'll get Dakota Smith for this one. This will be team foul number 2.
Trying to be aggressive. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that. We got these guys in here where the press has been working, and he's just trying to get another deflection or another steal and just end up getting the foul.
Senators' quickness really giving this Mustangs team fits. 3.5 to go. 32-15, third quarter. Little dribble handoff out front. Walter, no space to operate. Has to kick out the tie. Picked up by Nichols in the half court, man-to-man. If the Senators can get this to the 20-point plateau, it may start to avalanche for the Mustangs. Cross-court kick. Miles will try another one left corner. This one way off the mark, and Holden now on the fast break. Giving chase as Walters. He bumps him, and Holden able to finish without the whistle. Holden now has 7 on the day, near his season average. It's 34-15. Back to the other end. Runner won't go for the Mustangs. Walters' struggles still continue. Ball tipped out of bounds. Last touch by the Mustangs. So West Washington gets it back, and we'll see the freshman big man, Jake Strange, check in for Bousman, who'll get a quick breather with just under 3 minutes to go, third quarter. Diaz will check out for the Mustangs, and back in will be Drake Felker, the 5'10 sophomore. Little full court pressure for the Mustangs now, trying to stay within the battle here. They got a long way to go, trailing it by 19.
You might start seeing a lot of substitution, you know, in and out, in and out. I mean, when do you start thinking, okay, I got to play here and again in a couple hours, so we got to save some energy, save the legs a little bit.
Yeah, because Shoals is definitely a team to be reckoned with as the Senators turn it over for just the 5th time today into the other end. Miles has it stripped away by Nichols for turnover number 19 for the Mustangs. To the other end, Nichols feeds down low. Jake Strange, count it in one.
That's what we like
take.
to see. Finish strong, big fella.
Jake gets his first basket of the day, make it now 36-15 as the lead continues to swell for West Washington, and Jake trying to put the icing on that sweet top 10 play. Nice take and one, and the free throw rattles home, and Jake's had his struggles, Coach. 4 of 13 for just 30% on the year, but finishes off the old-fashioned three-point play. Take them where you can get them, right?
And that can build confidence. I think it's a confidence problem with him from the free throw line, so that will help.
Ty misses the deep three, not the shot Coach May wanted for his Mustangs in the half court as Dakota Smith catches underneath, takes it up strong, and he'll be fouled on his way to the hoop. 2:08 to play, third quarter, and the Senators continue to pour it on. And this one's going to go against number 24, Drake Felker. And that will be, I believe, his second of the day. It is. That's team foul number 4. To the line, Dakota Smith, a pretty good free throw shooter, 9 of 11 on the year, as I put on the jinx.
I even mentioned it earlier. We definitely jinxed Dakota on that one.
81% on the year. That one rattles out.
You know, but something when don't we see more fluid? I know we've missed some shots, some bunnies here and there, but don't we see more fluid? And it goes back to your point. This team wants to play faster, I think, and we get points off of our press, get points off of turnovers. I mean, it just seems better today. I don't know if we're shooting it. I don't know if we're shooting any better.
It's almost like a feeding frenzy. You know, whenever you're at a pond or a lake and you see the fish come up to the surface, you know, they all start to gather in. It's like a shark smelling blood in the water, and right now that's the case for West Washington as they force another miss from downtown from Bauer. Zink comes off with the rebound. Dakota able to finish on the back end of those 2 free throw attempts. So Dakota with 1 point on the day, add another scorer to this offensive arsenal for West Washington. And we say arsenal, but 38 points looks pretty good through just a little over 3.5 quarters of play as of late for West Washington, as we have another strong take to the hoop and another Mustang foul. This one's going to go on Bauer, and for Bauer that will be his second of the day, team foul number 5. And to the line, the senior guard Cam Zink will go for a couple of shot attempts, just 1 of 2 on the year for 50%. One dribble, a roll of the ball, and Zink able to cash in at the free throw line. So now he's gotten to the scoring act.
That's good. He's one of them that has struggled offensively, and I think it's a confidence thing with him. So, you know, sometimes it takes seeing the ball go through a couple of times to get that confidence back, and that's it. Because you know he can shoot it. He's been known as a shooter all the way up, so he just needs more confidence. Couldn't finish that one.
So 1 of 2 at the free throw line for Zink, but again into the scoring act, 39-15. Another near steal for West Washington out front. Bauer able to save it, and then out of control, loses the handle as 6'1" sophomore Chase Farmer's checked in for his first minutes of the day, a guy that don't see usually a lot of varsity time, but Coach, with playing 2 games in the same afternoon, wanting to get some fresh legs in there as Dakota Smith uses up the dribble right side. Coming up on a minute to play here in the third. Senators in firm control, 39-15. And as I say that, they throw it out of bounds for turnover number 6. And they'll reapply pressure. Even up 24, Coach Smith knows, hey, if I found something that works, I might as well stick with it. Not at all a problem of holding some pressure. You know, a lot of people frown on that.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of people say, well, if you get up 10, you get up 12, 15 points, pull the press off. In certain situations, that's absolutely true. But when you got a young team that's struggling for confidence and that's what's working, it doesn't hurt to play a little full court man-to-man and keep the pressure on.
I mean, when you're 2-6 and trying to stop a losing streak, you keep after. You go for the throat.
Off the turnover, Jake Strange with the feed in the post had to kick it back out under a minute to play. Third quarter, Senators enjoying a very comfortable 24-point advantage right now. Farmer off the little flex cut, lost the handle, got it back, missed the shot. And it'll be last touch by Farmer on the rebound attempt. Nice little curl move inside the paint, though, with 45.1 on the clock. Now the Senators will back off to some half-court pressure and pick up at the timeline as Nichols meets Diaz. He'll apply that pressure, force him to the sideline. 5 count is on, and then Zink picks the pocket of Bauer and goes coast to coast for his first basket of the afternoon. So give him 3 on the day, and it's 41-15. And the Senators continue to keep grinding, Coach.
They doing it with defense, and that's what we talked about up front. Defense, defense, defense leads to points.
We knew at some point the levee would have to break a little bit for this team, and perhaps, again, some of those conversations that Coach Smith had in some player meetings before leaving school today was a little bit of the spark that this group needed to get the kindling going a little bit and light the fire. As Zink and Nichols come up with one more steal. That's 10 turnovers forced alone, folks, in the third quarter. 23 in all for the Mustangs through 3 quarters of play. And the Senators rolling here to a 41-15 advantage after 3 quarters of play. You're listening to Senator Basketball today as the Senators take on the Mustangs in this Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. We'll come back with fourth quarter action right after this.
Looking for your next new or used car? Then head on down and check out the deals at John Jones Auto Group in Salem, Corydon, Scottsburg, and Greenville. Whether you visit the lot and take a test drive or visit the virtual showroom online at johnjonesautogroup.com, you'll find the largest selection of GM cars in Kentuckiana. Whether it's a car, truck, or minivan, John Jones Auto Group has something that fits your style and your budget. Bad credit? No problem. We will find the financing that's right for you. At John Jones, we pride ourselves at finding the right deal for your situation. Call or visit today, 1-800-473-5546, or go online at johnjonesautogroup.com and check us out on Facebook and Twitter too. John Jones Auto Group, the largest dealer in southern Indiana, serving Salem, Corydon, Scottsburg, Greenville. You see so many because they paid so little.
.26 advantage for West Washington after 3 quarters of play as they look forward to a date later this afternoon with the Jug Rocks in the consolation game of the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. And the Mustangs open up the fourth quarter with possession of the ball, but same result as much of the third quarter with their offensive possessions. It turns into a turnover situation. That's now 11.5 alone for the Mustangs, a young team that's searching for some answers after, again, much like West Washington, losing a lot of their offensive firepower last year's semi-state run.
Right, and they're the same way. What Coach says is part of the process. You got to learn. You learn in wins, you learn in defeats, and you learn. You know, it's just like what we're going through right now as well.
But I think that we're still, even though it is a similar situation, I agree, but I think our guys are a lot farther along in the fundamental process and skill level as well. Nice take left side as Nichols gets hammered on his way to the hoop.
You can just tell just the athleticism and like you said, the basketball skill level. We're definitely way ahead of where they're at. And, you know, Coach May's a good coach. He'll get them going, and I think they're lacking a little bit of athleticism. They're definitely lacking some height in there as well.
Young guy with a lot of energy. Certainly a good coach who who took the reins of some good talent last year and again did a lot of damage in the postseason. 42-15 as Nichols steps to the free throw line, knocks down the first. Just a 42% shooter on the year. His first attempts of the day. Hits the first and the second one of beauty as well. So give Mikey 6 now in the afternoon. And it's now 43-15 as we roll under 7 minutes to go in this one. Scholes in the house, taking in some
Dakota doing a
hoops
nice
action.
job.
Getting an eye full of some Senator basketball that they'll see later on today again. If things stay the way they are, Senators will play again at approximately 5:45 this evening, depending on the speed of that 5th, 6th place game, which will tip at 4 o'clock. Minute and a half gone by in the fourth. So again, Senators in firm control, 43-15. Nice effort by Dakota. They dive after the loose ball. Couldn't get to it, but it was last touch by the Mustangs. So we'll see substitutions here as Walter will check back in with Miles. The two key guards in the backcourt for the Mustangs as Fernando Diaz will check out with Zach Bauer. And the Mustangs will stick with man-to-man in the half court, keeping it simple. But trailing it in a big way here as the Senators, again, have firm control and a firm grip on this one. It's Dakota Smith out there with Chase Farmer, Jake Strange, Cam Zink, and Mikey Nichols. A lot of guys able to get some valuable rest here, Coach, before another afternoon performance.
You
We
see
talked about that earlier.
A lot of the guys that had started and played most of the minutes tonight are getting a little bit of a rest.
Strange has it out front, lays it off for Nichols. Senators just trying to chew up some clock now as Jake again takes a turnaround jumper, didn't have the puppy squared. Could get the offensive rebound and the kick out to Nichols. Finish it in one. Nice teardrop move on the dribble drive right side by the junior guard. He's got 8 now on the afternoon. Looking for number 9 if he can cap off the old-fashioned three-point play. The basket for Nichols drives it to a 30-point lead for West Washington at 45-15. All three coaches off the bench instructing during the free throw as Nichols comes up short, so we'll keep the margin at 30 as we got 5:44 and counting to go here in this one, and we'll have a foul out front as Nichols applies good pressure. We'll pick up number 3 on the afternoon, team foul number 3 as well here in the half. Mustangs have committed 7 in all, so Senators in the bonus the rest of the way as if that matters. Miles will get it in the backcourt, and he'll walk it across, be met at the timeline by Dakota Smith, who applies, again, good, solid, fundamental man-to-man pressure. Nice split of the double team as Walter leaves another one short. He just hasn't been able to get it going at all as Jake Strange catches on the run and kind of gave up on it, Coach. I think maybe you could have saved the possession and at least flipped it back to Farmer, who was trailing, but a rare turnover today for West Washington, just 4.5 and 7 overall.
It's a nice look ahead. I don't know if he lost it in the glare of the lights or what, or he didn't help himself thinking about him being a split receiver
He
on that
did
one.
not. We may have to go back to the drawing board on that theory a little bit. As Farmer
Nice
comes
job.
up with a steal. Turnover number 12 of the half for the Mustangs. 5 minutes to play. Zink to the top of the key, gives it up to Nichols. He wanted it badly and give it up now to Dakota Smith in the corner left side. He'll drive, pull-up jumper, 10-footer won't go. Farmer to fight for the rebound. It flips off instead to Zink, who gets the pull-up jumper in the paint. So Zink with the offensive board work, being rewarded with his 5th point of the afternoon, and it's now a 47-15 advantage. Folks, you're keeping track at home, you already know this, but the Senators put it to the Mustangs, outscoring them 20-2 in the 3rd quarter. And the struggles continue for New Wash. Just 2 points through a quarter and a half of play, and enough to cause Coach May to sit down between his 2 assistants and kind of rub the side of his head a little bit.
Yeah, and we've had a couple quarters here or there through the first 8 or 9 games like that as well.
I don't know if we've had one though where we've went a quarter, maybe, where we've scored just 2 points. Sure, it certainly feels like it
The
though.
first quarter and a half last night wasn't
Well,
awesome.
okay, touche. Halfway point here.
Jake getting a little frustrated, I think. He's still thinking a couple plays ago, I think.
2 points in the first quarter, by the way, yesterday. But then
But
we
not
kicked,
the next half,
we
yeah.
kicked it up a notch
did.
with 8 in the second quarter, and
You're
some
right.
of those come fairly quick. So
We were blistering hot from the field.
Oh, well, I joked in between. I joked in between the quarter break because I didn't use up that much black ink in the third quarter for sure in my scorer's book yesterday. 20 points in the quarter is pretty dynamic for us as of late as Farmer comes up with a steal, goes coast to coast. Got tangled up in between a few defenders. No whistle except for the ball going out of bounds, last touched by the Mustangs, and Coach Smith will burn a 30-second timeout with 4 minutes even to play in this one. He's used up now both of his 30-second timeouts. I'm sure wanting to get a good look underneath for his crew. We'll keep it right here, and again,
Chase has done a nice job once he's got in there. He's got a couple deflections, a couple steals. He's hustling around. It's just, like you said earlier, he doesn't get a whole lot of playing time, but he's shown some good effort in there.
We'll remind you that this is the final game of pool play in the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. So now it comes down to the meat and potatoes of the tournament. 4 o'clock this afternoon, the 5th, 6th place game, which looks like, again, it will be Martinsville Tabernacle to take on this new Washington team. A couple teams that have gone winless in pool play. West Washington will take on the Jug Rocks of Shoals, which I thought gave Paoli some pretty good fits last night, especially through the first 2.5, 3 quarters of
and
play.
They have a couple big kids.
And then Paoli and the host Blackhawks to get after it in an Orange County rivalry, a PLAC battle for the championship tonight. That game set to tip around 7:30 following Shoals and West Washington. 3:46 and counting, third quarter. Senators patient on the possession. We're again working a lot of high-low post stuff today as Strange tries to feed on the block to Farmer. Had it poked away for a moment. Senators enjoying the 32-point cushion right now. Let's see if they can manage to get through this final 3:38 without too much of an implosion. As we'll have a stoppage of play. Not sure what Steve Eichert was looking at there. He was watching in the post. Sam Strickler into the ball game, 6'1" and a sophomore against 6'4" Jake Strange. He's talking to both of those guys on the block as Nichols drives into the paint. And the Senators may be content to run a lot of this guard weave out front. And as I say that, Zink says, hey, I'm not done yet with that ink pen up there. Get to work. So I'll mark another 2 in the book for him. And Zink doing all of his damage here in the second half. He's got 7. Make it now 49-15, and a Senator foul in the front court.
Miles has had a tough night, but he took that one aggressively to the hole.
Farmer will pick up the personal for West Washington, team foul number 5. And to the free throw line for a rare free throw attempt for the Mustangs today. Their first attempt of the second half. Again, just 2 points in all, and the lid stays on, and the frustration continues to mount for the Mustangs. First free throw up and no good for Walter. Second one is up and it's good. So the streak finally broken. The 3:13 mark of the fourth quarter of play. Walter gets 1 of 2, make it now 49-16. Senators again will continue to chew clock as Martinsville will head out. And the Senators come up dry on that possession. A nice rebound comes off to Bauer and company for the Mustangs. They go back to work at the offensive end. Just 3 points for them here in this second half of play. It's been all West Washington. They were able to ratchet up the full court pressure, which led to a lot of easy looks in the second and third quarter of action. Again, outscoring the Mustangs 20-2 in the third period alone. Nice split of a double team as Hunter Miles gets knocked to the hardwood. Takes a couple of bumps and bruises along the way. Another Senator foul. And this one will go against Dakota Smith. It'll be his second of the afternoon. Team foul number 6. 2:32 to play. 1-4 low set. Diaz on the ball side block works against a much taller Jake Strange. He slips out to the corner to take the inbounds pass and gives it up to Bauer. And they'll reset in their half-court motion underneath. Diaz backs in against Strange. Knew he was outmatched in size, though. Ball deflected away on the kick out to the wing. And with 2:19 to go, Mustangs will have it across the way.
Another
Miles.
deflection by Farmer. So he's done a really nice job. Dakota's done a really nice job giving some effort defensively as well, coming off the bench.
This gym is super, super quiet. Is really people mostly just on one half of the gym here, Senator fans and some fans from New Wash. As New Wash again comes up empty on another offensive possession, and Nichols now on the break will be fouled as he splits a double. A minute 57 to play, and it'll be bonus basketball from the charity stripe for the boys in white. As we'll walk now to the other end. Foul goes against number 12, Hunter Miles, his second. Again, team foul number 8. And Nichols back to the free throw line. 42% on the year today, 2 of 3. Mikey's first free throw attempt is up and good. And Coach, again, hopefully whatever we've been able to come up with here for this formula of success today against New Wash, we hope we can bottle it and have a little bit left in the tank for, again, a very formidable foe in the Shoals Jug Rocks, who have certainly improved since last year.
That very first game of the tournament yesterday at 2 o'clock, they played Tabernacle, and they were prone to give it up. Now, I didn't watch last night's game. I don't know if they were a little bit better with the ball against Paoli. It sounded like they were, but they turned the ball over quite a bit against Tabernacle, who was a pretty athletic club too.
New Wash with it out top, and a banked in 3 for Hunter Miles, and that's got to feel like you've hit the lottery after the second half woes offensively. Just their second field goal of the half, make it 51-19, minute 24 and counting. Senators will back it out now and just start peeling away the seconds off the clock. Dribble weave out front, and New Wash content just to kind of back off and let this thing end as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think people may be wondering why, but you know, Coach knows he's got to play here in another, what is it, an hour and a half, probably 2. I'm not sure when they. I think it starts at 4.
Oh, I'm sorry, for Coach May. Yeah.
Yes, for Coach May.
Yeah. They'll have about 2.5 hours of a break.
Right.
They'll go at 4 o'clock. It's about 1:30 now, so.
Both teams are preserving some energy.
Nice
Dakota.
Dakota Smith gets his first field goal of the afternoon. He's got 3, make it 53-19. Roll up on a half minute to play. Coach, good news is it's 1:30, so by the time we get done with the post-game wrap-up, be able to maybe catch the second half of some kitty cats and boo birds. A little bit of Kentucky U of L going on this afternoon.
Hard pass.
I know better than that. You can appreciate good basketball.
Yeah.
Come on.
Since I'm an IU fan, I haven't seen much of it, so I've just been watching bowl games instead.
Kind of seared the Hoosiers on
They'll
that.
be all right though. They'll be okay.
Little nickel. Hey, by the way, I want to clarify to the listeners at home or wherever you may be tuning in today that Coach Gibson said that about the Hoosiers. I did not.
Hey, I love the Hoosiers, but they're on the struggle bus right now. It's going to take them a year. I think they got some wins.
Kentucky
they can
sat
get
with 2 losses, and I think the
Big
same
10.
thing. So I guess that doesn't say much for our opinion of quality basketball as Diaz misses the first of what will be 3 attempts, I believe. They got him on the 3-point shot from the corner. Maybe they're going to say it's on 2, and they are. I guess he was just inside the line, so that one rattles home, make it 53-20. As time's going to expire, and the Senators with a stellar second half of defense hold the Mustangs to just 5 points in all through the final 16 minutes of play. And they walk away from here with a 53-20 win over New Wash. We'll step aside, take a break, hear from a few sponsors. We'll come back to begin our Ace Hardware of Salem post-game show activities from the Hawks Nest. Senators victorious today as they rout the Mustangs and move into the consolation game of the Springs Valley Holiday Tourney. You're listening to Senator Basketball today on WSLM 1220 AM and 97.9 on the FM dial.
Police, I just hit a deer. Well, the deer actually hit me, right? But I need a record for my truck. See, the whole front end is really smashed in. Now, the deer didn't make it, but it sure looks like a 12-pointer. Hey, I'd like to be towed to Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center. Yeah, you know, the one at 1008 West Mulberry Street in Salem. Well, just the other day, Bill, my buddy, he had his Ford Mustang redone there, and it looks like it did back in 1965. Even better. Well, they accept most major insurances, and they work with you to get a rental and get you back on the road with genuine parts for your vehicle. Not like some body shops that make their repairs out of the local junkyard. Yeah, right. You know, let Paul know it's me and that the truck will be coming in. He's a great guy, and he knows the repair business like the back of his hand. The deer, nah, he's not going to process that. Just the truck. Yeah, Eddie Gilstrap Motors Collision Center, or call Paul at 812-883-3481.
Channel Seedsmanship. It's about being in your fields, giving you expert advice, knowing your fields almost as well as you do, and selecting elite seed products to help maximize your profitability. When it comes to getting the most out of your acres and your operation, put your trust in a Channel Seedsman. For customized service, expert advice, and elite seed products, contact me, Brady Bishop, at 812-620-4624. Go Senators.
Since 1937, Eddie Gilstrap Motors has been proud to call Washington County home. As you cheer for your team tonight, we'd like to thank you for your business and continued support. Best wishes to the Lions, Senators, and Musketeers this season.
Senators roll to the victory today, and that again sets them up for a consolation meeting with the Shoals Jug Rocks. That game scheduled to tip somewhere around 5:45 this afternoon. But, Coach, an outstanding overall effort and the confidence boost, the offensive and defensive shot in the arm that this young group definitely needed.
Absolutely. And, you know, hopefully it's a carry. One of my points, you know, just for myself coming in, you know, I just put a few points on a 3x5, and it's carryover. What team's going to carry over? The team that struggled in the first half last night, or the team that actually came out and played aggressive and shot the ball fairly well in the second half? And they came out, and Coach Smith is right. We got off to a nice start, and that just gives you the confidence and the ability to just kind of loosen up and not play so tight. So, I mean, it's going to be a big point again tonight, or just, you know, when we play in the consolation, when we play Shoals in the consolation, we have to get off to a good start. You know, at some point, I think we went 0 for 4 from three-point range tonight. So, I mean, honestly, later on, I think we're going to have to hit a couple, because Shoals is a much better team than New Washington. I mean, obviously, they beat Lagodi just a week or two ago. So, and then they've looked decent at times against Paoli and Martinsville Tabernacle. So we're gonna have to bring it. I mean, we played well to start the day, but we're gonna have to even play better later on.
Let's go ahead and run down the individual scoring first today for the Mustangs, who now drop 9 straight and fall to 1-10 overall on the year. They've played one game in the Southern Athletic Conference, and that was a loss to Crothersville earlier on in the season. They get 5 apiece today from their backcourt duo of Hunter Miles and A.J. Walter, well under Walter's 12.2 per game average. Drake Felker chips in with 2. Bo Giltner and Spencer Ty start but do not tally for the Mustangs. 6 points for Fernando Diaz off the bench. He had a couple of corner shots from downtown in that first half of play. 1 apiece for Zach Bauer and Mario Diaz. Sam Strickler played but did not tally for New Wash. 20 points in all. They go 5 of 8 from the free throw line for 63% after going 3 of 4 for 75% in that first half of play. The big story today, the turnovers, as the West Washington Senators forced 26 turnovers in all, 13 in each half for New Wash. So a great defensive effort by Coach Smith's club here today. You guys up here causing trouble? Oh, okay. Maddie and Cass Keltner was up here. I thought they were trying to just cause us some grief, Coach. Now for the West Washington Senators, who now improved their record to 3-6 overall on the year. They snap a 5-game skid. They get 2 guys in double figures and a host of guys into the scoring column, a welcome sight for Coach Smith as they get 10 apiece today for Mikey Nichols and Gavin Smith. Mikey doing his damage off the bench. Holton chips in with 7. Parker Green with 4. Harrison Sanford in the starting role chips in 8 today. Goes scoreless in that fourth quarter where he got a lot of rest. Cam Zink chips in with 7 as well. Jake Strange with 3 in a starting role today. Kay Nables with 1 on 1 of 2 free throw shooting. Dakota Smith chips in 3. Chase Farmer played, the only guy who played, but was unable to tally in this one. 53 points in all. Senators go 11 of 15 from the free throw line for 73%, and they commit just 7 turnovers on the day. Again, another welcome sight to the eyes of Coach Sean Smith. Senators led it 8-7 after 1. 13-6 is what they outscore the Mustangs in the second quarter to take a 21-13 lead into the locker room. They come out and they absolutely take the Mustangs to the woodshed, 20-2 in that third quarter as they ratchet up the defensive pressure, and they continue to pour it on with a 12-5 effort, outscoring the Mustangs in that final period of play to walk away with the 53-20 win. We're joined now by Victoria Senator head coach Sean Smith. Coach, I know it's got to be a sigh of relief for you a little bit. Your guys get it rolling today, and the defense produces the offense for you.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to get a W, and I think the guys wanted to get that, and, feel good again, come in here with a win. So we don't have a lot of time to enjoy it. We got to get ready for Shoals, and got a tall order against them. They have one guy, their big guy, is really, really good. So we got to get ready for that. But we'll enjoy it and get something to eat and come back and see if we can get another one.
Thought you got a great effort, a balanced effort today, something we'd been lacking through that little 5-game skid. And yeah, it's just a balanced effort all the way down. Again, you get 2 guys in double figures, and I thought early on it was guys like Gavin and Jake and Harrison. That front line that you started that set the tone with a lot of good post looks, a lot of good touches. And Jake didn't get a lot of scoring on the day, but Harrison and Gavin, again, provided you a spark in the paint that you needed to establish yourself in the post.
Yeah, I mean, we knew we had an advantage there, with some size, and we wanted to try to get it inside and get some easy baskets or at least easy looks, and we were able to do that. We struggled to put the ball in the basket a little bit early on, but once we were able to put it in there and get on a little roll with some full court pressure, like we said, it's hard to press if you don't score. So we were able to put the ball in the basket and get some pressure going, and that created some turnovers and easy baskets for us. And from that point on, we were able to really take control of the game. So really proud of the guys for stepping up and getting it done.
And you go into the locker room with that 23-13 advantage. What's the halftime talk like, and what was your points of emphasis or your focus coming out in that third quarter?
We just talked about how we really had an opportunity in that first 4 minutes or so of the third quarter to really take control of the game, and we needed to keep it up with our defensive intensity and effort and continue to attack. We talked a lot about attacking and being aggressive, and we made a couple little adjustments to some things they were doing defensively, and we were able to get a couple baskets off of that. Kind of get a little breathing room and take control of the game, and from that point on, we felt pretty confident that we were able to take care of things and finish it off. So that was the focus, really focusing on that first 4 minutes and stepping it up and trying to take control of the game, and we were able to do that.
And Coach, when you look back through the scorer's book, most of those games during that little skid, a lot of them here recently at least, have resulted in single-digit amounts of free throws as a team for the entire game. And today, you only get 15, but you capitalize on 11 of them. So free throw shooting also a good key and a positive for you to take away.
Absolutely. We want to get to the foul line. You can't get to the foul line being a bunch of jump shooters. You have to be aggressive either through the post or off the dribble, and you got to guys have to ask themselves if they want to be shooters or scorers, and scorers, they get to the foul line. Scorers score in a variety of ways. They're not just jump shooters, and we were able to get some guys to do that. They were able to get to the rim a little bit and at least get in there and maybe draw a foul or get a good look, and we were able to get some easy shots that way. And so hopefully we can build on that. And we had some guys, we shook things up a little bit and had some guys responded, pretty well. So hopefully that'll continue.
Well, Coach, I know it's a very short break for your guys, and like you said, you'll get a little bit of rest and get something in the belly for each of these guys to fuel them a little bit for that game against Shoals, and we'll talk to you prior to the tip of that game with the Jug Rocks as you guys take on Shoals in the consolation game. Congratulations on a big win today, and we'll talk to you pretty soon.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach Sean Smith joins us here on our Ace Hardware of Salem post-game show as the Senators romp to the 53-20 win today over the new Washington Mustangs, and in some ways gets a little bit of retribution and maybe heals a few scars from back in March with that loss to the Mustangs in the Lagodi Regional. As we'll step aside, we'll take a break, get a word in from a sponsor, and we'll come back and we'll let Coach Gibson run down some of the team statistics as we look to wrap up our post-game show festivities here from the Hawks Nest.
Us at Ace Hardware of Salem would like to thank you, our loyal customers and neighbors, for continuing to give us the opportunity to help you with your home projects and for letting us be a part of your neighborhood since 1996. We are proud to serve the community our family calls home. May you and yours have a very Merry Christmas and have a safe and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas from Ace Hardware of Salem.
Yeah, I'll be down there in just a little bit. Save me a seat. Get a TV, please. All right, Coach Bausman's going to host a TV so we can watch the kittens and the boo birds, whether you like it or not, Coach Gibson. What do you think about that?
TV where? Where are you? What are you
I think
talking
we're going to
about?
go to 33 Brick
Oh, yeah.
Street. Yeah. Maybe
I haven't decided yet. I may go back and crunch some numbers.
No, now. If that's the case, you just don't want anybody in public to see you watching Kentucky and Louisville.
No,
I know what the real story is.
I've actually said to you before that I'm not a huge fan of Cal and Kentucky, but I do like the way they play. I mean, there's been some guys like Davis and Wall and those guys. I actually liked how they played. So I know IU fans will never talk to me again for saying that, but that's fine. They got some guys that have been able to play a little bit of basketball.
You're kind of like Coach Myers across.
To the rack because we only shot 4 of them. So